Before I start, guys, I just want to say that I don't take any credit for any of the information that I'm going to share for you guys today. Everything that I've learned has been from experienced falconers online and in books. Just to mention a few that you guys should go and check out. Ben Woodruff, he's got his own YouTube channel, which is full of information and some great videos that you guys should check out. Matt Mullenix, he wrote the books American Kestrels in Modern Falconry and the 4 Falconry Fundamentals. Phillip Glasier, he wrote Falconry and Hawking, and it's another great read. And Harry McElroys, who originally described what I'm going to go over with you guys today, the 22-hour weight management, in his book Desert Hawking. And now this concept's used by many falconers all around the world. So I'll throw the links to all that information down in the description below if you want to go and check any of them out. Feel free to do that. And like I said, that's where I get most of my information from. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the chart that we're going to start with, and that I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to try to just go over the chart with you, and then we'll kind of step it down a bit. I'll try to explain each of the parts kind of individually and how I got my numbers where they're at. So what you want to know is at what time of the day do you plan to go hunting on a regular basis. So for me, it's a 9 a.m. process that I was able to be ready to go hawking at 9 a.m. in the morning. So I want my bird to be at hunting weight at 9 a.m. each day. So the way that works is you need to figure out what your grams per day loss is, and how you figure that out is, so it's the weight after your final feeding minus your hunting weight. So I take my final feeding weight and I subtract my hunting weight, which is my target weight, and that's going to give me a grams lost per day. So from that, which if you guys think about that, that's just you take the total weight at one point and you subtract your next day's weight, and it's going to tell you how much weight it lost. It's no different than a human. You can weigh yourself the next day and subtract the 2 weights, and it'll tell you how many pounds you lost. These are grams. So from that, what you can do is you can take your weight after feeding, so this one, and you can subtract your hunting weight, and then you can divide that by 22. And what that's giving you is this 22-hour average. So it's an average weight loss of 5.5 grams per hour. So that tells me that you can figure out how many grams he loses in the 22 hours. Now, the reason they do the 22 hours instead of 24 hours is because this is planned that for the next couple hours you're going to be out hunting. And the reason there's a feed up, that's why there's a feed up weight. So you don't need to know what the weight is while you're out hunting, because obviously this bird's going to continue to lose some weight and maybe gain a little bit. It depends on how you tidbit, or while you're out hunting, you're going to give it some food while you're out. And then what the plan is that you're going to be done hunting, you're going to return home, reweigh your bird. So let's just say, as an example, we return home and we've tidbitted a little bit, and our bird comes home and it still weighs, it's 1040. If you add 121 grams to it, it will bring it back to a weight of 1161. And then with its average weight loss of 5.5, it will lose that over the course of the next 22 hours, and it'll bring you back to your 1040 hunting weight. Hopefully that makes sense. Give you an example of how I got to know my numbers in this regard. So let's just do this. So say you have a bird, and on day 1 at 11 a.m. your bird weighs 1,040 grams. You feed it 110 grams, bringing it at that same time up to 1150. So that's its fed up to weight. So that would be this number over here. So we've fed it up to 1150. The next day at 9 a.m., which is going to be your hunt time, you weigh your bird, and your bird weighs 1029. So that's under where you want to be for your hunting weight. But what you can do to figure that out is the same math we did over here. So if you take your 11 a.m. fed up to weight and you subtract your 9 a.m. weight, you're going to get your grams lost between those two times. So you can see the bird lost 121 grams with an average of 5.5 grams per hour. And that brought me to this weight. So what that tells me then is on day 2, if my bird weighs 1040 and I feed my bird 121 grams, which was this number that I figured out over here, will bring my bird at that final weight stage, this one, so fed to weight, would be brought up to 1161 grams. And then into the next day at 9 a.m., my bird should have lost my 121 grams and still at a 5.5 grams per hour and end up at a 1040 hunting weight, which still works out to 121 grams lost at 5.5 grams per hour. Now, this 5.5 grams per hour is going to be different throughout the day. This is an average. So what is actually recommended to do these weights is that if you can, try to weigh your bird hourly throughout the day. Obviously, you're not going to wake your bird up in the middle of the night, but if you can get a fairly good hourly weight while the bird's awake, so say you weighed your bird at 11, 12 till maybe 8 o'clock before it goes to sleep, you're going to get a pretty good average on that daytime grams per hour. And if that last weight that you got, you can figure out those hours that are between and get you an average for your overnight grams per hour. And then you can figure out your hourly if you weigh every hour in the morning once the bird's awake. So that you can do the first day or so when you're trying to figure out your actual bird's gram per hour. Or like I said on here, if you just know what the fed up to weight is, so the last number, and then you go down to the next day at 9 a.m. and you get your weight at that point, you can do the math and figure out an average of grams per hour that bird's going to lose over the next course of 22 hours. Hopefully that makes sense. But obviously your bird is going to be burning more grams per hour probably through this period before it falls asleep. This will be the highest grams per hour lost. It's going to burn hardly any through the night, and then it will start burning maybe a little bit more here. So it's going to range, but this was just an average that you can pull, and the bird's going to stay pretty much within that number as long as you stay keeping the bird active at the same level. That gives you a pretty good idea of your average that you can use for filling in the rest of the information. Once you get your average, you're going to kind of work off of that. If you guys found this information helpful in any way or interesting, please help out my channel and hit the subscribe button, and we will see you on our next ACR Falconry adventures.